I'm getting so tired. I'm getting so.
Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker. Welcome to the show, y'all. Anger festers inside of you, and then, without warning, it pops. And it spreads all over. You can't control who it touches, who it affects, who it harms. And that's what this story is about today. This story is about this guy. We're going to call him Bone Crusher, right? That's what we're going to call him, Bone Crusher. Because this guy, he did something so horrendous, so outrageous that it defies logic. At least it does for me. Yeah, I understand that I'm in prison for some terrible things. I do. And I shouldn't get a pass on that. I respect that. I understand that. I accept responsibility for what I've done. But there are some things that make it almost impossible for you to forgive yourself, especially when it's up close and personal. Those are the hardest ones, you know. We don't often equate the harm that we cause to somebody that we don't know versus somebody that we do know in the same way. You know, I'm not trying to say that it's easier to forgive yourself for something that you did to somebody that you may not know. That is not the message that I want to put out. That is not what I'm saying. But when it's somebody that you do know, it's so many different layers that it makes it almost impossible for a person to get through, especially on their own. Because the rejection is immediate. It's right there in your circle. When you're going through something like this and it's somebody that you don't know, not related to, in situations like that, that rejection, that pain that you cause your victims is not front and center like it is when it's somebody that you know. This guy that I'm talking about, he was in prison for killing his own parent, his father, his own dad, with his bare hands, y'all. With his bare hands. See, that speaks to an anger. But let me back up. Let me tell you this story, right? Let me tell you how this played out, how this came to be. This guy, when he was a young man, his father walked out, left, gone, nowhere to be seen. And his mother, she's left to deal with him on her own, to raise him on her own. And she ends up getting caught up in a lot of stuff, and she ends up in prison. Joins a gang when she's in prison. Now her son ends up with her parents, his grandparents. They raise him and they do the best they can with a situation like that. You got a young man that's been abandoned by his father, and then his father's still in the area, but he don't want nothing to do with him and all this and that. And he's not consistently and in his life in a way that a father needs to be. Pops up here and there and all this and that. Give him some money, goes about his way. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But the mother, she's locked up in prison and joined the gang, and he goes to see her from time to time when the grandparents are able to take him there, and she's loving him from behind the fence. And now this young man is full of rage and full of anger, and there's nothing is helping him deal with that. He doesn't know how to process that. And his grandparents, they're doing the best they can, but what do you tell a child that dad is gone, mama gone? You tell them you love them, but it don't seem real. Even though it is real, it seems disconnected because he wants the love of his mom and dad. They're not there for different reasons, and he's not getting that. So that anger builds and it builds and it builds. And then when his mom gets out, she's a gang member. The gang that she's in, he wants to be a part of that gang. So he joins the same gang. Now mother and son are gang members. And they doing it. Now he's not out pulling capers with his mom and all this and that, but he feels a closeness to her because he's following in her footsteps, you know. Mom get high, he get high. All of these different type of things. Mom don't see anything wrong with the lifestyle. He don't see anything wrong with the lifestyle. Even though he's still young, he don't like it, but he's accepting it. He's going along with it. He's doing the things that come along with that lifestyle, the robbing, the shooting, and all of these different types of things, the selling of the drugs and the mistreating of people and the being disrespectful to his grandparents, the people that have loved him while his mother was gone. But he loves his grandparents, so he apologizes for that. Every time he does it, he goes back and says he's sorry, but he does it again and again because he's divided. He's divided. He's doing the things that he wants, that he thinks he needs to do to get the love from his mom, but he knows his grandparents don't approve, so he apologizes to them. He's torn down the middle. And here we go with the father. The father, y'all, the one that he wants the attention from. He's in and out. He's in and out of his life. Got a bad drinking problem. Terrible, terrible drinking problem. He just cannot leave that bottle alone. And he likes that pocket knife. Pull that knife out on people. Got a reputation for it. Everybody in the neighborhood speaks about him, you know. But when he gets drunk, it's like he gets a pass because he's drunk. He ain't killed nobody. He ain't done nothing like that. But he's got a reputation. If he gets drunk, he'll pull it out. So one day, Bone Crusher, you know, he's growing up. He's a teenager. He's getting older. He's getting a reputation. You know what I'm saying? After he likes to stay high. He likes to rob. He likes those pills. He's doing all of those types of things. And him and his daddy get into an argument. And he stands up to his daddy. And he tells his daddy that he's not a little boy no more. And he need to respect him. He's barely a teenager yet. Barely. So his daddy smack him, knock him down. Tell him, look, you my son. You do what I tell you to do. You gonna mind your manners. Now, keep in mind, the dad ain't done nothing to nurture none of that. None of that. So as far as Bone Crusher is concerned, he putting his hands on the stranger. Yeah, he wants the love of his daddy, but his daddy ain't got no business putting his hand. He ain't raised him. He ain't done nothing. So now that seed of anger that's been in him, oh, it's growing now. It's growing. Because now he feels that he needs to show him that he's a man. So he gets more and more aggressive in the streets, and things are happening in the streets that his name is starting to ring. Getting a reputation, he'll pop that thing. He like to knock people out too. They say, man, little Bone Crusher got them hands. He hard hitter, man. Dangerous. A few years go by. His reputation is way bigger than he is. Runs into his dad again, just on a happenstance. They have a few words, exchange a few words, and he tells his daddy, don't ever think you can put your hands on me like you did a few years ago. And his daddy, in a drunken stupor, tells him, you my son. I brought you in the world, I'll take you out. See, parents always like to say stuff like that. You feel me? That triggered something in Bone Crusher. It triggered him. So him and his pops, they get arrested. They on the ground. They tussling back and forth. He gets his hands and puts them around his neck. He chokes him. Then he hits him a couple of times. Left, right jaw. Hitting him. Doing all these things. And then his dad is laying there, can't move. Now he got his hands on his neck. And he's choking him. And that anger and that rage that he's been feeling for years is all coming out. And it causes his hands to form like a vice grip around his neck. And now his dad is not moving. So he starts to beat him some more. He ain't moving though. Then somebody notices that he's not moving. And they run over and say, man, get off of him, that's enough. He gets off of him. He's looking down at him, breathing hard and heavy, shirt torn. He said, I told him not to mess with me. I told him. They said, man, somebody called 911. He's not breathing. Now his eyes get big and his face starts to show the terror that's really running through him, and he's like, takes off running. The ambulance comes to get him. They put him in the ambulance to get him to the hospital. He's dead. He's gone. Now they're looking for him. The word is out all over the neighborhood. Bone Crusher's dad is dead. They got to fighting. Police heard about it. They looking for him. When they arrest him, he's high as a kite. Don't know what's going on. Has no clue as to what he's about to face. So when they asked him what happened, he told them. Said, we got into a fight. He says that he was trying to hurt me. And they said, in what way? He said that he threatened to cut me. They found a knife on his dad's person, but it was in his pocket. Never had been taken out, never opened. But they knew he had a reputation for that. They knew he had a reputation for that. And as they investigated more, they found out that a couple of years ago, he slapped his son and knocked him down and embarrassed him in front of everybody, you know. So all of that was factored in when they took the case to the DA, and the DA said he wasn't going to hit him with the first degree. Nah, hit him with manslaughter. Now his family is torn down the middle. Half of them support him, the other half don't. He got family members like brothers and sisters, siblings that they hate him now. Because see, their dad was around for them, but not him. You see what I'm saying? They got a different mom. So they looking at him like the person that he's describing, they don't know. They don't know. They don't have a clue as to who he's talking about. All they know is they missing their daddy. He's gone, and he's gone because he did it. They don't care that he's their brother. He did it. And when he admitted it in open court, they screamed out. They screamed out and told him that he deserved to be the one that died that day. Now you got to keep in mind, you know, he's barely 20. Barely 20. And on drugs, been without his father most of his life. His mother came back into his life and influenced him in a way that took him all the way south. All the way south. But she's sitting there, bandanaed up, like it means something. Like it means something. So when her son, he looks back at her, he sees that, and that's what he identifies with. And she tell him, you're going to be all right. Do your time and get out. So he come up in here hard, rough, rugged, and raw. I ain't taking nothing from nobody. His reputation, look here, what he did to his own daddy with his own hands. Oh, look here. Everybody looking at it like, oh man, if he'll do that to his pops, don't nobody stand a chance. Stand back. Leave him alone. So, but you know, it's always somebody. It's always somebody that want to try him. He terrified at the first fight. But the muscle memory kicked in. He started throwing them things. And then, look here, he hit him so hard, it sounded like a firecracker going off. I'm talking about when he hit him, the dude, he don't know whether to run or fall down. And then all of a sudden, everybody see his whole pants leg, he had on sweatpants. Whole pants leg got wet, made him piss all over himself. He hit him so hard. Hit him hard. And the dude, now like I said, he don't know whether to run or fall down. He just fell. He's not unconscious, he just fell. And he threw his hands and he said, man, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Before he could even hit him again, dude yelling, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Now everybody's watching, they're like, he ain't finna hit me like that. He ain't finna hit me like that. So now everybody's on high alert. When you're dealing with bone crushing, man, you better have that thing with you. Because if you let him hit you, hey, he finna embarrass you. So now he full of himself. He's moving up in the ranks in the gang that he belongs to. Ain't did nothing other than that. But they fear him. And they want to use him at the same time. So they give him a little status. You know, he round there knocking out the op, taking what they got, doing this and doing that. Everybody's spooked because when he come, he don't come with no butcher. And then he come in a way to where, you know, you don't know if he mad or not. He ain't even got to get himself hyped up to hurt you. You know how some people, you got to get hyped, got to talk yourself into it. And all. Now he coming, he's chilling and everything. He might even be talking to you while you kicking and whatnot. Next thing you know, you sleep. He done put you down, you snoring. Now you going in your pocket. What was that all about? You know, took everything out your cell. What was that all about? So now, he feeling like this is who he is. Everybody gonna respect it. But see, he never dealt with the anger that was building up in him. He never dealt with the pain that was building up in him because he was being rejected by his siblings and half of his family. So the people that he clung to were the ones he knew he could depend on, his mama and his grandparents. They still loved him. But they never, ever talked to him about what happened. They never put him in a position where he had to process that and get to a place where he could forgive himself for what he had done. Right or wrong, he is responsible for the death of his father. That's something that needs to be worked out. And when he talked about it sparingly, it was like dude wasn't nothing to him. I don't really need to be concerned about that anyway because he was never around. Saying as if he would have been around, then it would have mattered. But because he wasn't around, it don't matter that he was his dad. He was just some other dude. That's what he was telling himself. That's how he rationalized it. See, that's what anger will do. It'll make you rationalize it in a way to where you can move forward, but you're really moving backwards. He was never able to get past that. So he's doing his time. And he gets to a minimum camp where he can work outside the fence. And one of the main things they asked him before they put him out there, they asked him, you got your anger in check? Now listen to me. They asked him, does he have his anger in check? He ain't took no anger management classes or nothing like that. And he says, yeah, I'm good. So somebody down front recognized it at the prison he was at. They were like, nah, he ain't going out front. You put him in the anger management class, get him in every class we have that teaches a person how to deal with their anger and their behavior. And then we'll look at him again in a year. So he goes through all the classes and he starts to learn things about himself that he never really wanted to deal with. He started to learn things about himself, about how he felt rejected by his parents, how he felt, you know what I'm saying, that his parents had really let him down, but he never had the courage to say it. How he really loved his grandparents, but he felt like he had disappointed his grandparents by siding with his mama and becoming a gang member and doing all these types of things. He was just being pulled back and forth, never really finding a place that made him comfortable mentally. Never finding that place. So he started to recognize these things and he learned some coping skills. You know, talk these things out. Don't react, you know what I'm saying, immediately. Think about what you're doing. Think about the harm that it's going to cause you and the people that you are going to be involved with. Think about the people that will be disappointed. Think about how it's going to set you back in your journey to be a positive and productive citizen. All of those types of things they taught him, and he started to try to use those types of things when he could, right? But every now and then he would get involved in these little skirmishes and he'd start like he was going to do something, then he'd pull himself back. Start like he's going to do something, then he'd pull himself back. And then tragedy strikes. His mother got caught up in some things on the streets and she got shot. Didn't kill her though. She got shot. And his anger, it's like it all started all over again. He wanted to know who did it, where they live, all this and that. And he had a little status, so he tried to make calls, try to get some things done. Nobody would do anything. Nobody would do anything. So he was like, I'm going to take care of it when I get out. When all of this anger. So a couple of guys that had gotten close to him, they went to him and they told him, look, man, let that go. Let that go. Your mama know what she doing, man. She put herself in that position of being a gang member. That's part of it. When you get out of here, you need to be there for your grandparents and your mom. You need to go on with your life. They telling him. He listening to him. He feeling it. He hearing it. But he just can't do it. What was stopping him from doing it? What was stopping him from moving forward? I'm going to tell you what was stopping him from moving forward in the next episode, though. So you're going to have to tune in to the next episode, y'all. This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and I say peace, y'all.
I'm getting so tired.